Real warehouse.
A real warehouse.
Wow.
Yeah.
A
So
real
Bumblebee
warehouse.
Linens is actually run by my wife. I just do the marketing, and then I
Okay.
got my own stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So
the
you
side.
guys, like, it's still, she runs it. It's her thing.
There's a long story behind that. So you guys know that we started together. And anyone watching this, I actually don't advise that you work with your wife
Really?
on a business.
Why?
Things are complicated enough as is. You bring in business into the mix, and well, let me give you an example. So we might have a little argument about the business, and then that leads to something that I did like a year ago.
And then like you leaving the toilet seat up.
and all of a sudden, you know, and then that leaks in too, and it's really hard to separate it.
Yeah.
So just to give you an example, we would go on these expensive dinners for like our anniversary and whatnot, and all we'd do is we'd are we allowed to cuss on this?
Of course.
We'd bitch about our vendors and how they're screwing us, and we just talk about business the entire time. One time we took a vacation to China to visit our factory, and that was like our couple's getaway, right?
How romantic.
So yeah, we used to fight. We never used to fight at all until we started the business. And so once that started happening, my wife was actually the first one to recognize this. So we split all the duties evenly. And okay, so let's talk about ego real quick. So I got an ego, you got an ego. Well, maybe you don't.
I don't have an ego. It's hard to have an ego when you're perfect. Really, it's like. Alex was
Let's
over
get
there
Heather
looking
on
at me.
the show right now.
Yeah, let's get Heather on the show. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Raging ego. Okay.
So I wanted a 7-figure business.
Okay.
At all costs.
Yep.
In the beginning. I remember going on this
Revenue or profit?
revenue in that case.
Okay.
Right? In that case. This was back a long time ago. We have a mutual friend, Noah Kagan. You know
Yep.
Noah, right?
Yeah, he's coming on the show soon.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. I remember I had a retreat with him, and I told him how I was doing. He's like, dude, you're sitting on a gold mine. You should scale it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I should. And so that year, we hit $1 million. We busted our asses. But that year was actually the year that my wife and I were like on the rocks.
Yeah.
Big time, actually. Because I kept pushing, and we made enough money. Like, we don't spend that much money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cheap. You know that about me.
Yeah,
right?
I like how you corrected frugal to cheap. That's
Frugal,
good.
yeah.
I'm frugal. No, I'm not. I'm just cheap.
I mean, our family spends like, honestly, maybe $150K as a family
Oh,
a year.
yeah.
We make way more than that.
Sure.
Like, so what's the point of making all this money,
Yeah.
right? So my wife was actually the one who sat us down and said, hey, whenever you drive all these sales, it's a physical product. It sucks, right? You know, when you run a business, like growing really quick actually sucks big
Yeah.
time. So I might do a promotion that like ups our average daily order volume by like 5x, and that really sucks.
Yeah,
right?
interesting. Yeah.
So my wife comes home in a bad mood. Everyone's in a bad mood after that. And unless you're willing to staff up and consistently do that, then it doesn't really make sense.
That adds its own degrees
That
of
adds its own
complexity.
headaches.
Yep.
Right? And I don't know why I was so fixated on hitting that 7-figure number way back then.
Yeah.
But I think anyone who's listening to this can understand. You always want to grow. I'd set revenue goals. We'd hit them, and then we'd move the goalposts the
Yep.
next year,
Yeah.
right? And so today we don't do that. For Bumblebee Linens, at least, whatever happens, happens. So back to the ego part. So you know, like we have potential, right? But if you're making sacrifices and not growing to your best, deep down inside, you're always questioning yourself, right?
Yeah.
Could I have done better if I went all in on this? And this kind of goes back to family, right? So my book's called The Family First Entrepreneur. We started these businesses so we could hang out with the kids,
Yeah.
right? But have you heard of the 4 burners theory?
No.
Okay. The 4 burners theory states
4 burns?
burners.
Burners. Okay.
Do
All right,
I have a
got
Chinese
stove.
accent or something? No. 4 burners.
Okay.
Health,
Health.
family, work, and friends.
Okay.
Okay? Those are your 4 burners.
What about video games? Dang it, the 5th burner. Okay.
Damn it. I got to rewrite my book now. No,
All right, keep going.
Okay. In order to do
Wait,
one...
health? Sorry, health?
Health, family,
Family.
work, friends.
Work friends, okay?
Okay. In order to do any one thing well,
Yep.
you have to turn off at least 1 burner.
Yeah.
If you want to do anything ridiculously well, you have to turn off 2. And if you're Elon Musk, you turn off 3.
Yeah.
And it's just all work.
Yep.
Right? So part of our changes were realizing these 4 burners, right? So back when we were trying to scale our business, we actually turned off our friends and our family burner probably. And you can't have it all is the point, right? And the problem when you can't have it all, you got to pick, right? And for me, it was family. It's always been family. But then you question yourself, like if I turned all my burners on work, could I create like an 8 or 9 figure business?
Yeah.
Right? And that's tough for someone like me. Like I always want to do the best at everything that I do. So what do I do now? What I do now is no revenue goals. And instead, I just pick one thing that I'm going to focus on for the year. And I don't really care how well it does. I just focus my efforts. Kind of like this podcast that you're starting here, right?
Yeah.
You're going all out. I mean, like the production value here is amazing, right?
Thank you.
You're going all out.
I'm giving a thumbs up to my crew.
I'll
over here.
I'll double your
job.
salaries, guys.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, you don't, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so just go all out. Do it. Whatever happens, happens. Right? So I've done that. So this year, it's the year of my book. I'm going all on the book launch. I hired a book launch coach. I'm going to do things right. Try to hit the bestseller list.
Yeah.
Last year was YouTube. I just hit 200K subs.
Wow.
The year before that, it was TikTok. The year before that, it was like Facebook ads, on and on and on. Every single year, I just do one thing. That's it. I just try to do it well.
That's powerful.
And as long as I'm interested, like I'm really into it, and I no longer feel like that ego problem where I'm not like striving for something.
That's good, man. Yeah, it is. There it is. This moving goalpost. You said it that way, right? It is that. It's this idea of like I don't celebrate my wins very well, right? So it's like I hit a goal. I'm like, all right, guys, we did it. Pat on the back. Now we got to do twice as much. And it's like, when is there rest? When is there like enjoyment? And so I really like the idea of thinking like, maybe let's scale back. And one way I try to do that in my own life is like, we talk a lot about within the Better Life Tribe, which is what I'm running now, is the idea of identity-based goal setting. So like, who do you want to be rather than like what? Instead of saying, I'm going to make $1 million this year, it's like, well, who do I want to be as a person? Like, I want to be a better husband, a better father, a better whatever. And then I can, maybe I can set some ideas or actions around that or some habits around that thing. But that's what matters more, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if I have $1 million when I go to retirement or, or $1 billion or $2 billion or $500 million or like, it's irrelevant at some level. So yeah, keeping that in mind is super powerful. So I'm assuming that's a big part of your book, like the
I talk about those things. Yeah. I mean, really, why do people start businesses? It's so they can hang out with who they want to hang out with and do things that they actually want to be doing, not working, right? Money always gets in the way of everything because it's like a scorecard, right?
Yes.
Like here's a question I hate getting asked. Whenever I go to an event, one of the first questions that I get asked is, how big is your team? Yeah. And in my opinion, the size of the team is irrelevant. Like I make $1 million in profit on just the blog stuff with just one VA in the Philippines. Wow. Yeah. Right? That's it. That's amazing. Bumblebee, we have, orders to fulfill, so we have 3 people there. But you can go really far, and I only work 20 hours a week. You can go really far with just one VA. And arguably the size of your team absolutely matters. It doesn't matter at all. Yeah. I used to actually run a team. I used to be an engineering director of microprocessor design when I was an engineer. And I would say that I was forced to hire people because we had the budget.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'd give them this like tiny piece to work on, and that would be like their only job, just that tiny piece. And honestly, I think me and one other guy could have just done all the work of the group. Like if we had to, right? Sure. This is like Twitter. Elon laying off like all those people. I'm willing to bet that those people weren't necessary.
I 100% agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, Parkinson's law, right? Work expands to fill the time allotted for it. It's like there's got to be another law there. It's like work expands to fill the number of people you have to work on it. Yes. And so if you got 10 people to work on a project, it'll take all 10 to finish that project. And then if you have 3 of them, like you get it done somehow with those 3 people. Yeah. Which is an interesting dynamic of, maybe instead of like there's this need, especially as we're trying to grow, multiple businesses here, real estate and the tribe stuff. It's like, I got to hire more. I got to hire. But there's definitely power in resisting that and saying, how do we get this done without hiring more? How do we get it done? I think like the word how is like the most powerful word in the English language. Like instead of saying like, just get more people. It's like, well, how would we get this done with one person? How would we hit our revenue goals with one person or 2 people or 3, whatever the lower number is? That makes a lot of sense.